And welcome to the Champ is Here podcast. I am your host, Kevin Cartier, alongside my compatriots,
Arthur Sinclair,
Stevie Boy Smith,
Kaliko McGee.
And we are here to discuss all the happenings and latest going-ons in the WWE universe, in the world of sports entertainment. And I think the appropriate way to start is to discuss what happened this past weekend. The biggest weekend, our Christmas WrestleMania weekend. We had a lot of action, a lot of stuff happened that we have to unpack.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame was this weekend. NXT TakeOver was this weekend. And of course, WrestleMania, over 7 hours long, was also this weekend. So, overall thoughts of WrestleMania weekend. Anything stand out to you, Arthur?
How average it was.
How average it was. Okay, Stevie Boy, you look like you had an issue with that.
I thought the show personally was great.
The show itself, or the weekend?
WrestleMania weekend overall, in my opinion, gets the score of a B+, a solid B+. Everything was entertaining.
Okay.
I think the biggest complaint is everybody suffers from show lag because the WrestleMania show is a little long, considering. A siesta would be a good idea in between, but that's my biggest complaint. Other than that, the show's great.
And my man McGee over here, what'd you think?
It was good. It was alright.
So better than average.
Some places.
I mean, personally, I'll look at it like this. I think it was better than average because I think last year was average, and this year was better than last year. Now, last year had the high point of Nakamura versus Sami Zayn, which I thought was arguably the match of the year of all year. So, of course, when you have that high of a high, it's going to, kind of help the overall average of everything. But I think match for match overall, I enjoyed this year. I mean, you had a legit match with the Fatal 4-Way with the women at WrestleMania. I mean, that's one of two matches that was on the main card. NXT was overall very good. It had a very good triple threat elimination tag, which set the world on fire. And Hall of Fame, I think one of the better Hall of Fame classes we've seen in a long time, too. But what were you going to say?
I'm just, what if I just, maybe I'm seeing it through Jaded Eyes, I guess.
Then go ahead and break it down for me.
What is your biggest? I thought the Fatal 4-Way match, like psychology that you spoke on.
Are you serious?
I'm so.
The three women realized that they had to team up to take out the bigger threat.
That was the best part. That was the best part of the whole match. But besides that, it felt rushed. Like again, I said this from after the show. I said the first half of the matches they felt prolonged, and then the later matches they felt like they were rushed. Where it didn't even. Again, Bray Wyatt got beat off one RKO.
So that's what you're bitter about. No. That's what just. So is that secretly what is holding this whole weekend back?
Literally, you built up 3 months for one RKO. Like, let's be logical. Okay, it's not even about that. So
first of all, we're gonna get to it later. I don't want to get too deep into this.
I'm just saying.
But the RKO has also been built up out of nowhere. All it takes is one, right? Has it not?
Yeah,
Has it not?
He's also the apex predator.
But we'll get to that. I promise.
Okay.
We're gonna get to SmackDown Live.
On top of that,
I promise.
On top of that,
okay. On top, pile it on.
The show,
the whipped cream on top of the sundae.
The show like Roman Reigns and Taker. The last 8 minutes of the match fell to a C-.
Undertaker. Okay. See, we're gonna get to. You know what? We'll get to this now. We'll get to the Undertaker now.
NXT. I can go the tag team match you spoke of. That match.
You didn't enjoy the tag match?
No, I didn't enjoy it, but man,
that was the match of the weekend.
It was, but it was honestly. But to me, I'll get to that later. Bobby Roode and Nakamura. I've never been a Bobby Roode fan. I probably never will be. Maybe that's why I'm so jaded about it, because that match didn't move me either.
I'll say the first match between
Ember Moon, Asuka.
That was a good match.
That was a good match.
Hard hitting.
Literally because they went out there and they were out there. They were hitting each other.
Yeah.
So how can you not like that?
Letting it go.
And they're both very talented women. So I can't.
Both.
But
I think Ember rose to the occasion, and a lot of people. I'm a fan of hers, but I think a lot of people were sleeping on her.
Last year, WrestleMania was better than this year's in my eyes.
So you think Triple H Roman Reigns was better having that as the main event this year or last year? You think that?
Yeah. Yes. Again. How do you have a match? How do you have a match with Triple H, Roman Reigns? Triple H and Seth Rollins, unsanctioned, not sanctioned. How you want to call it? And the Destroyer doesn't even come in.
That was peculiar.
No.
I mean, that was peculiar. That was peculiar.
The psychology doesn't make sense, man. Like they were just.
It was two guys fighting it out, though. Two guys that hated each other. And Rollins was out there despite the fact that I personally thought that Rollins was going to get hurt. I was afraid we were going to watch him hurt himself.
And
many times during that match.
And again, I thought that they protected him. To be honest,
they did. No, they did.
I actually messed with Triple H at WrestleMania
completely.
And come on, it didn't live up. It was just like Brock Lesnar and Dean Ambrose last year. It didn't live up to what it was.
Okay, so what about Brock Lesnar and Goldberg then at the show? Because I thought that was what we all wanted. That match
from the get go.
That was a high
cosmically. That's what we all were hoping for.
That was a high moment right there. That was a high moment because everything made sense. So in that match, that was one of few.
Okay, all right. So author Stevie Boy here, you gave the show a B+. How do you feel hearing him break down the show the way he is?
I disagree a little bit. I can agree with Roman Reigns, Undertaker.
Right.
The end of that match was slightly flat, I think. Mm-hmm. You know, just because Roman was carrying Undertaker at that point. We don't see him do that a lot, and it was the Undertaker. You know, we were kind of just waiting for him to do. I don't know about you guys, but I was kind of waiting for him to get back up and pull something on Roman Reigns. I didn't really expect him to lose. I wasn't around the loop that he was retiring or semi-retiring. So we'll see. I also thought Seth Rollins had the best entrance of the entire night.
That was nice. That was a nice usage of the
besides
video screens.
Roman Reigns had a very good entrance as well.
And I think you make a good point.
The set design, everything with WrestleMania, the theme and everything was seamless. I think the one thing that suffered was a little bit of the match card because they had to do so much shuffling. But I think overall everything went off well. There were no major mess ups in the show that I saw that really put a hitch in it.
How are you gonna have 2 years of long entrances, man? 2 years of terrible ramps, bro. Come on, man.
Wow, I was just gonna say. So you didn't enjoy the set design?
Really?
It was
80 yards. You didn't enjoy it,
man. Come on, dude.
I actually enjoyed the theatrics.
I thought it was a little. At first, I was like, "Wow, this is the biggest ramp I've ever seen." But
by far it was, but it wouldn't be over. It was. They did a bunch of cool stuff, I thought, and it's WrestleMania. As long as they don't do it every night, I'm cool with it.
Did we see the test run at Royal Rumble? They walked pretty far for that, I think.
That's also Alamo Dome. It's a really big arena. That's just the nature of the beast. What I did think was funny, though, little fact, from what I remember, I've read, the Undertaker's entrance alone at WrestleMania 33 was longer than the Universal title match, bell to bell.
Yeah.
Look it up. Okay, so moving on with The Undertaker, we're going to move on to the news section. That was that was good stuff. It's good stuff. We're going to have a good show tonight. So we're moving to the news section. We're going to cover a couple of happenings and goings-ons in the sports entertainment world or universe. The Undertaker, arguably one of the greatest of all time, arguably the man most synonymous with WrestleMania, the event we were just talking about, arguably the cornerstone of the WWE for the last 25 plus years. He's retiring. I mean, we all saw with the gloves, the hat, the jacket, and just the symbolism of it all. And just, if you are even a casual fan and you watched WrestleMania and you saw that happen, you could feel the energy from the crowd. You know exactly how they felt. Even if you don't know who The Undertaker is, you realize that this is a man of great significance and importance and great meaning to a great many people for different reasons. So the word is, like Stevie Boy said, there's been a retirement rumor for a few years now. We've heard it. But the word is that I've heard is he needs full hip replacement surgery. So he's been putting it off. I believe he's 52 this year. He's been putting it off for a few years now because he realized once he got it done, you got to hang it up.
Long
right?
rehab.
Yeah, like you're at the age he's at and how often he works, he would be done. So he kind of, it was kind of almost like a one more every year for the last few years. And I think it caught up with him. And I kind of think overall it was appropriate he lost to Roman Reigns. That was the guy to do it. Roman Reigns is looking like he's going to be the next guy, and he's leaning into it, and he's developing really well. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that, Roman Reigns being the guy to beat Undertaker? And even if you don't want to address that, if you just want to just talk about Undertaker and how you feel.
I would probably never been happy with Taker retiring, so
but what we saw though, because you even spoke on it, I mean, Undertaker, true. I went back and watched the match twice after watching it live, and the first time I watched it live, if you had asked me, I panned it. Watching it back, Undertaker was doing what he could, man.
He was.
He really was.
He came in there and he really gave it his all. And
unbelievable. And for the amount of pain he must have been
unquestionable.
But that's what also it's almost like, man, if he was going through that much to it's almost very saddening. And it's bittersweet that he's retiring finally because I'm glad he gets to go home and rest.
He deserves it.
Yeah.
Because you deserve it, Undertaker.
He entertained.
Smoke a beer for the dead man, right?
He entertained millions of people for
years, countless years.
Yeah.
I mean, since literally,
20+ years.
We're talking about. I'm 27. We're talking about.
Yeah.
I was 2 years old.
I was literally 6 months. I was 6 months old when he debuted in WWE. 6 months old.
And I've been a fan the whole time.
And yeah, I
haven't missed a WrestleMania yet.
So,
Stevie Boy, Kaliko, any thoughts on the dead man before we move on?
I mean, it's already been said. I mean, I'm sad, but it's a respect. Like, it's a respectable. It's time for him to go.
Yeah. No, he went out on his sword, definitely, much props for doing it the professional way and going out on your back.
Yes.
That's how I knew he was going to lose.
That's the only way, though.
And there's only been 2 men to beat Undertaker: Roman Reigns and the new Universal Champ Brock Lesnar. So that's a little trivia for you right there too. So speaking of that match, we also saw the return of another beloved person from my childhood, good old JR Jim Ross. The word is he has signed a 2-year deal to come home to WWE. Now, I don't think he's going to be full-time announcing. I don't know. I haven't seen anything. There's speculation with what's going on with SmackDown Live that he may possibly take the reins. See what I did there? Take the reins of that announce booth. But I also think that with Jim Ross and the WWE Network, infinite possibilities on content. This man literally is the link from the territory days of the 70s to the rock and wrestling era and the NWA Ric Flair days of the 80s to the new generation guys of the 90s to the Attitude Era to now. I mean, this is the man that's responsible for directly for a lot of talent that we've all know and love. I mean, from like 96 to like 2002. So I mean, he took over the job from J.J. Dillinger. But anyway, I digress. But any thoughts on JR coming home?
I was happy for him. I'm happy for him, in light of the recent events that have happened to him,
And, yeah, unfortunately, I think we need to touch on that. What Stevie Boy's talking about is, unfortunately, Jim Ross's wife, Jan, passed away recently. And, I'm glad that WWE and him were able to link back up. Because I think it's good for Jim Ross to be able to...
Well, it's a family.
So, yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's a family.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
I enjoy JR's take. It's a good, fresh take on the commentary. The last match, you're a little drained. It's refreshing to hear JR illustrate the match through his words. Especially you've never heard anybody, commentate on Reigns that way. So I thought it was a good way to characterize Reigns in a different light, and especially in him beating the Undertaker like that. It kind of JR did a great job of putting him over, and hopefully that changes some of the resent that the hardcore fans have.
That arena was
no, not at that arena, and not the next night either. We're getting to that. I promise we're getting to that. McGee, any thoughts on JR coming back, or just how about you give us a Boomer Sooner? Boomer Sooner. Okay. So, last but not least, I hate to write that man has a family. I hate to end on kind of a downer, but recently WWE and Simon Gotch have mutually come to an agreement. They're going to part ways, and they've wished him well in his future endeavors, as we've come to know it as. Any thoughts on Simon Gotch and what could have been? Do you think he's going to tear it up? Because we've seen WWE guys that were being underutilized go on the indies and go on this tear. Drew McIntyre comes to mind, other guys, and then they make a run and they come back. Kurt Hawkins, or is he gonna? You think he's gonna find something else? What do you think the future has for Simon Gotch? Or you could even just talk about what you thought of him in WWE. What could have been? Any thoughts on Mr. Gotch?
I really I liked his entrance, but Aiden. That's really. He.
Vaudevillains and NXT were. Typical quintessential NXT.
I liked his look, but I really never thought that the fans would get behind him on the main roster.
I think they needed vignettes, old classic, old school vignettes from like the 90s.
Black and white.
I think they needed a lot to get over.
Because that was a real.
They didn't get.
It was a real conceptual gimmick, and I think if they portrayed it right, it might have helped out. But there's also been rumblings of possibly him hurting Enzo, that kind of cut their push off at the knees at the pay-per-view a few months ago. We all the scare with Enzo Amore. He had the concussion. There was a spot where he threw him into the ropes, and instead of being able to slide under, his head caught the bottom rope and it ricocheted him back into the mat. Very scary.
That was
I
very
feel like
scary.
that was kind of more.
I've heard there was, again, speculation. I've heard that there's been more heat on Gotch for two reasons. One, because he immediately got outside the ring and yanked on Enzo's head, which no bueno. No bueno if you have a head or neck injury. You don't do that. And second, again, speculation. I don't work for them. I haven't been backstage. But there's been word that he's kind of not a popular guy backstage, and he maybe didn't handle it the best way because, accidents happen in the business. It's a very rough physical business, and usually it's professional where if you're involved in an accident and someone gets hurt, normally you kind of say, I'm sorry, and are you okay? And it's kind of the good thing to do, check on your fellow brother in arms, see if he's okay. But so I kind of heard maybe he wasn't the nicest guy sometimes. So,
Didn't he?
That's not even counting that. The fight with
Sin Cara?
The fight with Sin Cara.
With somebody. Yeah, he got
somebody. And unfortunately, when you're in a tag team and you're aiding English and your friend and your partner is getting in trouble, man, that kind of doesn't look
bad
great on you either. So, does that make me think that is this possible that Aiden English might be able to make some chicken salad out of this?
I would hope so. I really enjoyed him as in NXT.
The artiste.
Yes.
Okay.
Love it. Love it. Please come out. Please come out and sing something.
If you buy him a scarf and a beret, he might wear it.
Please do it.
Okay, so moving on, we're going to go to our next segment I like to call Going for the Gold. And today on Going for the Gold, we're going to talk about one of the biggest returns and or debuts we saw over this past weekend of WrestleMania weekend. Yes, Tuesday's part of WrestleMania weekend now. It's crazy to say. The return of the chairman, the big boss, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. I damn near feel like I have to stand up when I say it. But he came swinging and swaggering down to the ring after we saw the big limousine pull up. He got on that mic in that $5,000 custom suit. He was basking in the adulation of the crowd, his people, right? He was the preacher at the pulpit at the Church of WrestleMania, and the parishioners were eating it up. And he says, we're going to have us a superstar shakeup. Not a draft like we all thought, right? A superstar shakeup. So my question to y'all, what the hell is a superstar shakeup? What does that mean? Mr. McMahon was very vague after that. Lots of big boasts and promises. We're going to see next week what that means. But any speculations? Anyone want to take a guess on who might go where in the superstar shakeup?
Yeah, I think there'll be matches held to see picks, man.
So what, like Raw or SmackDown would pick representatives to fight?
That would be interesting.
That's what I think. I don't know though. Who knows?
Because they didn't say draft. We've seen a draft before.
It could be trades. Who knows? It could be offers. It could be. I don't know, man. I honestly.
But okay, if it's trades, what gives them the incentive to actually even do any trades, though? You know what I mean? Because if we're looking at it from a storyline standpoint, couldn't they have already been making trades and they just haven't yet? So what's the incentive to do it now? Because Mr. McMahon is there, and he's kind of turning the arm.
When he says your job's on the line, you better make something happen.
You gotta make it twerk. You gotta make it jug. That means you gotta make it happen.
You don't see Mr. McMahon on Raw.
No, it's
good.
Very.
He lets it know when he's gonna come for a good reason.
Very. It was a surprise. He made it worth it.
When he comes there, just something unexpected. Something's supposed to shake. So, well, I think I think he'll threaten a job or two, and then that'll get the ball rolling on offers or matches or whatever.
Okay, any other guys? Superstar Shakeup, what do y'all think?
I think it's a good idea. It offers a good idea to a good take on hitting the refresh button on the stories of the wrestlers in between, after WrestleMania. Because, we don't know what Seth Rollins is going to do. Is he going to stay? Is he going to join Finn Balor? We're not sure. Is the club going to go join AJ over there?
And we'll get to that in the Raw SmackDown. Any brief thoughts, Mr. McMahon, Superstar Shakeup?
No, I'm waiting to see what happens. What's really going to happen?
And with that, we will see what happens. All right. And the next segment, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into Raw, and we're really going to dive into the deep end, into the Red Brand, and talk about the night after WrestleMania and all the fallout, too. And this is the Champ is Here podcast. I am Kevin Cartier, and we are going to do our quick question segment. First time we ever tried doing this, so we're going to see how it goes. And basically the idea is I'm going to get to ask one question, very quick, open-ended, and everyone gets to, kind of throw in what their answer would be and, give their reason and why. So today's first quick question is, who is your favorite or the best member of the Shield, however you choose to interpret that, and why? And we're going to start with Stevie boy. Go ahead. I know you said you've been thinking about this.
Okay. For me, the definitive answer is going to be Seth Rollins. He kind of, he was overshadowed by Dean. He was the mouthpiece in the Shield. Roman, he was the big, strong guy that looks. Seth was kind of in between. They framed him as the architect, but ever since going solo, best member hands down. Best wrestler. Mm-hmm. He's improved on the microphone and done really well. And for me, best member.
Okay. Let's go over here. Author Sinclair.
I got to say my favorite member of the Shield had to be Seth. He was the reason they were so exciting to me. I mean, he said he was underrated, and he was. I mean, they had Roman as the powerhouse and Dean as the lunatic, and they had Seth at the back, but Seth was the reason. I think he was the glue to the whole group, and he really solidified them in their strategy and in performance.
So what about post Shield?
Oh, post Shield, my favorite has to be Seth Rollins, because his character has developed so many different ways.
And you feel the same way.
Well, in the Shield, I liked Dean Ambrose in the Shield. He was my favorite.
Okay.
Because he's just always just stark raving mad because he's the lunatic. Yeah, you gotta love it, and I just love that. Gimmick. I love that fact. Yes. Rollins was a great in-ring technician for them, though. People don't see that. He kind of held. He was the.
That's
glue.
How good he
was. The glue that held them together, and a lot of people didn't see that because Ambrose was the most polished. Reigns was so green. Seth Rollins was in between, and he held them all together.
Okay, my man McGee over here.
I'd have to say Ambrose. I think it's the other way around.
Okay.
Seth Rollins was the one, the Justin to NSYNC, the one everybody thought was going to go by himself. You could really see
great
that.
Comparison.
Like y'all said, Roman Reigns was, the quiet one in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And Dean Ambrose was the kind of, to get people to believe him, had to be loud and crazy.
Okay.
So, I mean...
So is that pre, post, or just overall?
That's overall.
So Dean Ambrose?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm going to be the contrarian in the group. I'm going to say Roman Reigns.
All right, I was waiting for somebody
off of what we've seen over this past weekend and the preceding months, this last year, and even in the Shield. I will agree, Seth Rollins was the glue. He was so good. He did all the little things that most of us didn't even notice it until after. It was like a hindsight thing. That's how good he was. And I love the flying knee he did. But if we're being fair, if we're getting in our time machine and we're going back to 2012, 13, 14, whenever that was, whenever they were at their peak, we're going to remember the hot tag. Excuse me, the hot tag going to Roman Reigns, and he would come in and he would go, ooh, and he would crush everyone, and he'd do the drive-by kick, and he's running around kicking and punching and smashing everybody, and it was exciting, and everyone would pop. And I remember a lot of people saying, man, that Roman Reigns guy has the look too, man. He's the silent badass, man. He's the cold killer. I mean, he would be the one that would put the cherry on the proverbial sundae at the end of the promos, hit them with the believe that or whatever, and just hit them with the look. And then you'd be done. I mean, because he was the big dog before he was the big dog. You know what I'm saying? Before they called him that. And now that he's gone, straight, he's gone solo, however you want to put it, he's been booed, he's been rejected by a majority of the fans. But in the ring, he's probably been my favorite because You put him in there with the small guy, he can be the big man. You put him in there with the big man, he can be the small guy. He can sell. He does all the he can work as a top like baby face. He does all the right things. He sells. He can come back. He can work from under. He's believable. His offense looks good, I think. And to me, it's credible. I like strikes as finishes. I like a spear. I like the Superman punch. He might overuse it, but I like it. So that is my favorite. And yeah, that was today's first quick question. Like I said, the idea is hopefully you, the fans, you guys have an opinion too. Feel free to comment, you share, like. Let us know who your favorite member of the Shield is and why. And feel free to shoot us a question that you want to be answered. What is next week's quick question? We'll find out. It might be yours. Tune in, find out. Hi, I'm Kevin Cartier.
And I'm Stevie Boy Smith.
And thanks for watching the Champ is Here podcast.
Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Champ is Here Show and subscribe to our YouTube page at Champ is Here Show.
At Champ is Here Show. At Champ is Here Show. And we're back on the Champ is Here podcast. And we are going to move on and talk about the night after WrestleMania. That's right, Monday Night Raw. And this is always a very fun episode of Monday Night Raw. It's always very special when you have... I mean, let's be honest with you. The WrestleMania already brings out the most hardcore fans. But then you have the Raw after. And you definitely get, like, the hardcore of the hardcore. Like, it's like... It's basically people like us. I mean, you have like 15,000 people like us in there.
Those guys, yeah.
And so we started with Roman Reigns, and yeah, I mean, I pretty much think if you've seen Monday Night Raw, it spoke for itself. The crowd was at least 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Of
booze and
I mean, it was
Undertaker.
Well, it slowly was thank you, Undertaker,
well, yeah.
and then we realized. Then I guess
then
they
he
were
put
like,
the mic to his mouth.
Then they got sour, and they started Then they realized, oh man, we got to boo Roman Reigns, you know. And then
there was so much emotion going on.
Yeah, and then Reigns' music hits, and you know, we take it from there.
So, what do you think of the tweet that he sent out where he said, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, but basically he said, I could have been out there another 15 minutes. First of all, loudest segment of the night, and then I could have been out there another 15 minutes straight of just soaking it in, basically. I mean, I think that's true. And I really think the promo he cut, the one sentence promo he cut was perfect. I love the way he soaked it in. I love the way that he kind of just let them, boo him. Mm-hmm. He embraced it. He said what he had to say. And then he got out of there. And it wasn't long and drawn out. But go ahead.
With, again, this is me being Debbie Downer. The way that match ended, man, just, again, it wasn't you coming out there declaring this is your yard. I mean, it's barely your yard. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not, I don't know. I think the way that, if he had a full heel turn, you know what I'm saying, and he'd have beat the brakes off Undertaker, which I thought he should have. He should have beat the brakes off him. He should have. Yeah, but he should have allied. I know he couldn't theoretically Brock Lesnar Big Show it.
But yeah, because
he couldn't rock it, man.
He was in rough shape, man.
Yeah, man.
I think beating the Undertaker at WrestleMania, being the second guy to do it.
But to me, that's
not.
Because
he's
leading into it,
man. Because
you don't think he's already based on his reaction from Monday. He's not the biggest heel in the company.
Oh, we already knew.
But he's not a heel though. Like
he's getting booed like one. Why is he not?
Because the rub came to Brock Lesnar, man. Because Brock was the one to be like you can't have another undisputed champion. You can't have somebody. How is it your yard and you weren't the first one to beat him at WrestleMania?
Because he was the first. He didn't face him first. Who's to say that he would have beat Undertaker had they met earlier?
I'm sorry you didn't face him first, but you didn't beat him first either. One
of two people, and the man to retirement still pretty nice. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Steve.
We were just sympathetic towards Brock Lesnar for the last 3 matches. You know, he got squashed twice. Everybody was screaming for Lesnar to win. He finally won. You know, he got what we want. Now everybody's cheering for him because Brock Lesnar. Total face.
Lesnar, bring it back to
total face.
Bring it back to Roman Reigns.
But what I'm saying is, it's inverted now. Roman Reigns. They knew that the crowd was going to love Lesnar and turn on Reigns and hate him, and that's.
I think Reigns leaned into it.
And
Reigns, with the way he was
finally
cocky and arrogant. Yep,
but see,
he owns it.
But they haven't.
McGee, what do you think? How do you feel about this?
Is he a face or a heel still? Is Roman Reigns a face or a heel right now to you?
Well, I think he has no choice but to be heel now. But I
think it's shades of gray. You're
There's
making
layers.
for the longest that
it's all
he's
about
been,
its nuance and it's about the situation he's in. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
I mean, but for as long as he's been booed, I mean, you would have thought he was going that way anyways, because people didn't already like him. They haven't liked him since the he was put in the main event.
John Cena's
But he's leaning into it now,
a
though.
great example of being.
See, I feel like
all
they copped out putting Roman Reigns against. But I felt like that's the easiest.
That was a
that's
cop-out?
that's the
was
easy
was
thing.
Roman Reigns Undertaker a cop out at WrestleMania?
I think
Was that a get out of jail? Was that a gimme? Was that an easy one?
when I think
Because
about,
who? I'm sorry to cut you
I
off,
think
but
Roman Reigns
I'm
is the
sorry
perfect guy to have done that.
I agree.
But he didn't do any. He didn't.
He retired the Undertaker. What do you at WrestleMania? What do you mean he didn't do
Taker's
anything?
been retired.
He got booted.
when
Wow.
You've been the one making comments about him, the just for men, the die jobs, the he can't come out here
If we're
and
gonna
wrestle.
okay, so
You've been the
let
one
me
that
clarify.
did that.
Let me clarify.
Not me.
I have said
Multiple
I wish,
occasions.
I wish the Undertaker would have retired at the WrestleMania
Multiple.
once he beat CM Punk. I believe that was 29. I wish that was his last match. I wish the streak had been intact, but it wasn't my decision.
He should have been done after the indefinite era.
We were fortunate that we were there when he lost, when the streak was broken at WrestleMania 30. That's the decision they chose to make. He was very upset. I saw it coming because Lesnar on paper is the most credible guy to have done it, because at the time there was no young guy ready.
Agreed.
Now you have Roman Reigns, who's a younger guy, who's gonna, with everything considered, is gonna be your guy, your franchise player, who already garners a reaction as loud as John Cena, almost as mixed as John Cena, who almost probably sells as much merch. He's not as big of a name yet.
Agreed.
He's not. He has room to grow. But you put him in there at WrestleMania with a guy like the Undertaker, and you retire the Undertaker in front of that many casual fans, that many major media outlets. You're gonna see Undertaker retires, and then you're gonna see Roman Reigns' name, and that's how you build a guy that's gonna be your franchise.
That's how you frame
and
it.
your
How
cornerstone.
do you frame it?
How you
That's
build a
how.
guy.
That's how you build a guy.
He's won the Royal Rumble. The man
And
has
nobody
been in
cared.
WrestleMania.
He won the Royal Rumble, and nobody cared. And that's the problem.
They booed him out of the building.
No, but they booed because they didn't care. Now they boo because they don't like. There's a difference.
And they don't care that he retired. They don't care
Yes,
that he
they
retired.
do. They care
No.
now. They care that it's him. At the
When he
time, they were
walked out-
mad it wasn't Daniel Bryan, and it
Correct.
just so happened it was Roman Reigns. So they didn't care about that it was Roman per se. Now he's leaned into it. Now he's playing into the I'm the arrogant guy that retired the Undertaker.
Is he really? Is he really?
So you're telling me he stood out there like this
Of course, he
for
just beat.
15 minutes,
he just
and
beat-
every time he would put the mic to his mouth, I'm sorry, I'm going to let you talk, but every time he put the mic to his mouth, they would boo him with the vitriol and the hate of 1,000 suns,
been doing
and
that.
he would smile. No, but
He's been doing that.
Okay.
He's been making the
But
jokes.
beating,
go ahead. I'm
but
sorry.
beating
Maybe you
everyone's favorite, that just straight galvanized Roman Reigns
Exactly.
as being hated. He just beat the Undertaker.
Now you're right.
At WrestleMania
You're
for
right.
the second time.
But Brock
Brock
Lesnar
Lesnar
did that.
Brock Lesnar is credible and he is a monster, right? You know.
And-
And who was beat
He's-
twice
he
by a
stands-
50-year-old
he
man that's out of
stands
shape.
alone.
Okay, we're gonna get to
A little
that.
bit.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to Brock. We're gonna get to Brock and Goldberg. We'll get to that. But
Again, they built up Brock.
hey, we'll get to Brock. What about Roman? Talk about Roman.
What? Well, y'all keep throwing that he's beating Taker, but you
don't think he
been
served
beat.
his time?
There's only one other guy that did it. Bray Wyatt didn't do it. Another young guy.
No,
No one else.
And
And
even if had Bray Wyatt, I mean, again,
well, okay.
once again, Roman Reigns. They threw Roman Reigns in that match strictly because Roman Reigns. Like literally, they could have had somebody debut and come out and get the rub that everybody so deservedly said Taker should do. But you know what they did?
No.
They put it on Roman Reigns,
No.
of all
He needs
people.
it. He needed
Because
it.
Exactly.
He needs it. Because the crowd really ate up that.
This
dude,
is that
they
seal.
didn't.
This is what's
They didn't boo him because he beat. But they boo because they strictly don't care for him.
So you're saying
that's
that
what that was.
So
man,
that could
they
have been
don't
Roman
care.
Reigns. That could have been Roman Reigns versus Fandango.
And they would have booed, bro. They would have booed. It's like, bro, it doesn't matter.
We've seen it before, and we talked about this earlier. I thought a lot in the fans that it's like he said. they would have rather probably seen somebody else go against him
Really,
than
what
Roman
had?
Reigns.
Dude,
Like I was telling you, a green guy, or even a goat.
AJ Styles would
AJ would be my only option.
AJ would have been nice, but I think Roman. But since this was Taker's last one in the hole, I think that they played the card right. I think they did.
I agree.
But okay, so overall, a lot of emotion here. I mean, so if you don't mind, we're gonna move on to the next thing, and we're gonna hopefully delete the bad feelings from this past conversation, and we're gonna bring back the Hardy Boys. They made their debut at WrestleMania, the shocking surprise return in the ladder match that was made into a fatal 4-way, and they won. They defied all of our odds, all of our experts here. We all picked Enzo and Cass to win. We were all wrong. We should have seen. We were experts. We would have seen the Hardy Boys coming. To be honest with you, because in hindsight, it was so obvious. I mean, it's a ladder match out of nowhere. The last week before Mania turns into a ladder match. In hindsight, it makes too much sense. But what do you guys think of the Hardy Boys not only coming back and winning the titles, but defeating the Club in their automatic rematch on Raw?
I mean,
Is it for the Club, or is that more indicative of what they're doing with the Hardys?
I think it's more indicative of the Hardys. I think they didn't. Well, once it came out of WrestleMania,
you don't sound excited. How do you
I
feel?
think everybody knew they were going to win at WrestleMania once it came out.
Yeah, no. When they showed up,
it was clear.
In a ladder match.
Yeah, it was like oh, well,
it's like we got set up, right?
So then on Monday when there's a rematch,
Caught me on pants down.
it's kind of like they're not going to beat them again. You know, they're not going to flip the flip. You know, so I'm interested to see what they're going to do with the Hardys. But I'm really,
So are you excited? Yay or nay?
Nay.
Hardys.
Yay.
So what do you think about them coming back and winning them?
This isn't broken.
Because we'll get to that. But you've been a big Club guy, so I want to hear what you think, McGee.
I mean, I'm still up for the Club, but the Hardys, that was fun.
So you're on the nostalgia kick, okay?
Yeah.
So what about you? What do you think, Stevie?
I'm all for the Hardys. For them. Popped really hard when they came out. The nostalgia gimmick, it doesn't matter. Matt Hardy has always impressed me. Even in his
Matt Hardy.
even in his
legs.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Even in his later years away from the WWE, the hard work he has put in everywhere around the globe. Jeff also.
Okay, so
They've had their problems, but you know what? They got back to wrestling.
go ahead.
I will say, it was intriguing to see them coming from TNA and seeing they still have like the ring. Well, the ring just wasn't there.
Okay.
I mean, they've been competing. I mean, I don't know.
So,
but you
so
go.
I hate to interrupt, but you said the magic word. You said the dirty word, if you will. So let's go ahead and I guess let's get into this conversation. I thought about this while I was thinking about the show, and is the WWE, are they going to do what we've seen them do with other Attitude Era acts and ride a nostalgia wave? Is this going to be strictly Team Extreme Hardy Boys,
That's what it's gonna be.
or are we going to see a certain renaissance in their characters? Maybe something might get shattered or cracked or something in their character, their persona, and they may get a little wackier.
I would like.
Or is it going to be option C, where with this superstar shakeup and the way the brand split is, are we going to get a nostalgia run, and right before it gets stale, are they going to split them and we get one more top run from Jeff at one company, one brand, and then Matt can kind of go off and do his own thing and another, and then they can kind of be in their own ecosystems. So one can be, because it's looking to me like Jeff is kind of happy to be back and being Jeff Hardy again. Whereas Matt, I think, really enjoys playing the gimmick and playing the character. So I can totally see them getting this nostalgia running and then breaking up. But what do you guys think? What would you prefer to see? I'm sorry.
Well, I would like to see the broken act. I mean, let's be real. That's kind of what got them back in the WWE. We all love them, but that's really what put more eyes back on the Hardys. I like the nostalgia act,
but it's going to run.
But I'm fearing it's going to turn out a little bit like the Dudley Boys for me, and it just did not work.
Exactly what I thought.
Everybody, popped so loud when the Dudley Boys came out, but they just fell so flat. It was spectacular. They underperformed.
Okay, well then, what do you think?
I don't see a major title. I mean, I can say maybe like a
they have both right now.
If they can do the broken gimmick, they have so many more options.
Singles action, I don't see them winning the award heavy. I don't see them winning the Universal.
Even having a run, even Jeff.
No,
for whatever reason, you guys love Jeff Hardy. Not you guys, but you guys.
Oh
Love Jeff Hardy.
yeah, but it's
Swanton
no,
Bomb,
they love
baby.
they love the
Send the hate mail
damage he
at Kevin
does.
Cartier. Go ahead.
To his, I mean, literally, man, there was no need for him to sponge off that ladder on Sunday.
Yeah, because he had to. He had the itch, bring out the bug. Nostalgia or other.
I would like to see something cracked or broken
Or shattered.
or maybe deleted.
Obsolete.
I would like to see that, and it's like he said, singles ain't gonna happen. I don't think
At all.
But you don't
got him
think
back,
with
man.
the broken, when you don't think being broken, it can tear them apart.
no,
And
'cause
they could-
Exactly.
And then we could see a storyline of them two put together because we already know they have great chemistry and singles. They're
Yep.
also both great wrestlers.
So you can even leave them apart until it's time
Uh-huh.
to do that. But okay, so overall, are we optimistic on the Hardys being back? Yay or nay?
I'm indifferent.
You're indifferent.
I'm indifferent.
Yeah.
That's not very enthusiastic. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think we're all kind of waited with bated breath to see
Bated
this.
breath. That's-
Yay.
Okay, yay. So we have some Shakespeare, we have a yay, and we have a Debbie Downer in the building. I, for one, am happy to see the Hardys back. I want to see what they're capable of in this new WWE environment. But I think it would be smart for WWE to have a long-term plan and to hopefully not just ride this nostalgia wave into the ground. Moving on, speaking of tag teams, we had some top guys in the building on Monday Night Raw. And if you watch NXT, you know what I'm talking about. The Day of New came out, the host of WrestleMania, The New Day, for you laymen, and they started to cut almost a heelish kind of promo about how they've done everything there is to do. They've beaten everybody, kind of showing flashes and flickers and glimmers of something, bubbling beneath the surface. And all of a sudden, we heard the harmonica from hell, and then we go hard, and then all of a sudden we had top guys in the building, and the crowd lost their mind, and we actually got to see a pretty good match, if I say so myself.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the rare ones where Xavier was working,
Yeah.
right? So does that raise your antennas when you see Xavier working?
It's nice to see. I like to see the guy
Does
wrestle.
it make you think they're gonna lose? Am I pessimistic for saying that?
I thought they was gonna lose for a different reason, but that's
Yeah, I agree.
But if I remember right, the Revival one straight up clean, right, with the Shadow Machine, right?
They did.
Oh yeah.
But-
They went over nicely.
I think that had that been Kofi and Big E, I could.
It would have been more legit.
Yeah.
I think.
Remember?
Yeah.
Because to be fair, I think they're saving that for the pay per view. They're saving that for the next match.
I was gonna
Paper.
be cynical and say that was just punishment. To be honest, personally, I thought
Oh.
that was pure punishment.
It might have been too.
I saw that. The first thing I said, I was like, "No, Xavier's taking the pin. That this is punishment. We'll let you think about it."
Well, also they're grooming Big E too. I think for a big top run.
I would hope
But Revival, what do you guys think about the Revival? Was it more about the Revival getting the Revival over, or the New Day is kind of their run is over in Raw?
Well, I'm not gonna say that, man.
But
I think
but-
the revival.
It's more about the well. What do y'all? What do you think, Stevie?
Yeah, definitely more about the Revival.
Were you happy to see him?
Yeah. I wasn't a huge fan of them in NXT, but they've slowly grown on me, I think, and they've really
I think
like
that's everybody.
refined and
Speak for
gotten
everybody.
better. It's really impressive, and they're the top guys.
To be
Top guys.
if I'm going to be blasphemous,
Steiner
if you
Brothers?
ask me, they're the best tag team on God's green right now.
Ooh,
What do you think?
ooh.
I
Send the hate mail.
at
Kevin
first
Cartier.
I was thinking they should have been one of the ones that they kept in NXT, but now seeing the match they put on with the New Day, I'm kind of intrigued to see what they got.
And I'm excited that they're working with the New Day too, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's exciting. Are we
I
all
agree.
intrigued by that?
Mhm.
I mean,
It comes in, it puts them in a good spotlight immediately,
Yep.
and
I mean, you're working with a high team like the New Day.
yeah. So okay, so I'm glad we're all.
longest reigning tag team.
I'm glad we're all
champion.
happy about that. So Brock Lesnar, our new Universal Champion, came out with Paul Heyman, and instead of cutting the normal "I won and rubbed it in our face" promo that we expect,
Right?
he called out Roman Reigns, the only other man to beat the Undertaker at WrestleMania. Just making sure we were all on the same page there. But
The one behind.
yeah,
21
he
and
He
one.
called him out, and it's
Paul
almost
Heyman.
you can see that it's I don't know when, but you can see that they're gonna have to clash again. But then Braun Strowman comes out and almost demands. It was, I guess it was about the belt, right? But it almost kind of felt like he was challenging Brock too for that spot as the top hoss.
No,
though,
I saw.
it's like there
was-
can only be one alpha. You know
That's
what I'm
what
saying?
I
Yes,
saw.
yes.
So feelings, thoughts
I'm
on Braun
intrigued.
and
I want
Brock.
to see it.
I know we talked about it off the show.
Yeah.
You're really excited
I
about
want
this.
to see it.
I mean, what do you think?
Anyway,
Braun, they've been trending in the right direction. He's been getting better every time we see him. Better talker, better worker, better speaker. And he even said it himself. I don't think most of you realize how large of a man Braun Strowman truly is, how powerful and strong he is, and how fast and sure-footed he can move. It's very impressive.
I feel like the sure-footed statement is debatable. That's just.
Well, my friend, you pay $9.99 a month. You can get on WWE Network and watch for yourself. So we're all excited about that. We'll see what happens. Braun Strowman, the monster with the brain.
Yes.
And speaking of surprises, and I believe it was a 6-woman tag match we had on Monday Night Raw. We had the return of Dark Emma, my favorite Emma, and we had a face Dana Brooke, a good guy Dana Brooke, and Bayley's still the champion. You know, she won at WrestleMania. Any thoughts on the return of Dark Emma or Dana Brooke, her refresh?
It's about time.
And our hugging overlord.
About time for Emma to both get back out there, or Dana Brooke?
Man,
both.
That's theme, so it's lost in the. Then they need something.
You used to be a big Emma guy. You don't sound like you're very excited
Because
anymore.
man, I ain't seen her in 4 months. I'm tired of seeing.
Well,
does not distance make the heart grow fonder?
I mean, now you keep seeing them and seeing it, and then keep. I mean, nah, man, I'm good off that. I'm hoping that they it upstarts that women's division on Raw, because to me that's been a very it's a big disappointment in Raw.
Okay, well, what about you? How'd you feel about?
I'm glad she's back. I thought the Emelina thing failed spectacularly.
Yeah.
But she's back, and it's refreshing. Just be Emma and be.
But why try? I mean, but they didn't even. But why put so much stuff into? But then not
from
even
what I heard,
try,
from what I heard, she never really felt comfortable with the gimmick.
That's cool, but Naomi never really felt comfortable with her gimmick.
But you see, they made her face again. The heel thing didn't work. They made her face. But okay, I don't want to.
They changed.
We unfortunately kind of got to move on. We're going to get back to that on another episode. We'll definitely touch more on the women, because they're definitely one of the high points of Monday Night Raw, if you ask me. But Cesaro, Sheamus and Cesaro, they are the number one contenders again. They're finally working on the same page. It looks like they're almost like good guys now. They wear the nice matching entrance attire now with the kilts. So it's looking like they're setting up a clash between the Hardys and Cesaro. I mean, what do you guys think about that? Is Cesaro is this the beginning of a renewed run for Cesaro? A real tag team run?
I would like to see that.
I think the guys have good chemistry.
Yeah.
I think this when they break up. This one they're going to not be able to beat the Hardys. They can't beat the Hardys. Then they're not going. They don't know why, and they'll end up breaking up. I think.
Okay.
So they go separate. Maybe the superstar shake up thing. Maybe that enhances it. Maybe who knows?
Okay. What about you?
Who knows?
McGee.
I like Cesaro. I see that they're uniforming, and I kind of liked them when they were going the same path, but two different people. Mm-hmm. And it just seems like a lot of those tag teams are like, they hate each other and then they find their way. Like, this one should have stayed like they're two superstars. They're on the same team, but it's like, you mind mine, I'll mind yours, but we both beat people when it's time to.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like functional dysfunction.
Yeah.
But like they chose to go a different route. I mean, that's what we got.
I'm intrigued to see what happens. I think this is the beginning of a face run for them. Okay, so one of the last big returns of the night at the end, the mystery partner once Y2J got beat up, which I'm kind of leaning towards, I think this is Y2J getting rid off TV, but he got jumped by Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe backstage, and after losing his United States Championship on Sunday night at WrestleMania.
Idiots.
Yeah, and but it led to the new GM Kurt Angle coming back, and he pretty much told Seth Rollins, "Man, I got you," and the return of Finn Balor. Was everyone as excited as me? I mean, I kind of saw it coming to me. It was kind of predictable, but it's good to see Finn back.
It is.
Look good too, right? Do you look good?
Oh yeah, he looks like he's in great shape.
He's been making the house show loop. I heard.
He's been, that leather jacket he wears is so cool. The Balor Club
you should get you one, man.
gimmick.
They sell them.
I would probably wear it.
WWEshop.com.
I'm not a big fan of the Demon gimmick, and he's the master of kicks. He does a lot of kicks.
I I'm a fan of the demon gimmick.
Really? You like the demon gimmick?
I really don't.
Sometimes
it's
it's a little much for me. It's a little much for me. But overall, I liked his return a lot. He looks great. They poised him. Everybody popped. They poised him so well. Michael Cole. You're looking at the first Raw Universal Title Champion. It's like, oh yeah, we forgot about that, and so it's kind of like, all right.
The second too.
Balor is back, baby.
Yeah, working with top guys. Mm-hmm. Happy to see Finn back.
Yes.
Okay.
Wasn't seeing it coming, but I'm happy.
You didn't see it coming.
Not really.
Need to go get an eye exam. But so to wrap it up for Monday Night Raw, we're gonna do something fun. Who was your champ of the night? Since this is the Champ Is Here podcast, who was your champ of the night for Monday Night Raw?
Come on, me?
Yes, we'll start with you, Arthur, since you volunteered. One person,
I guess,
that you thought stood out to you the most.
Vince.
The chairman, superstar shakeup.
Right.
I like it. Let's go with you, Steve.
I'm gonna go.
You said something next.
I like Braun Strowman. He finally got his chance. It's so good to see him. They underused him at WrestleMania. So good to see him calling out Lesnar, and it's also amazing to see a man that large make Brock Lesnar, the monster, the beast, look small. And it's like, wow. So I am very excited to see that, like you said, a Hoss match, boy.
I feel bad for you, McGee, because I think he stole your
Did I steal it?
Yes, you did.
But,
word for word.
We can agree.
Word for word?
Yeah.
Look into that camera and say Braun Strowman, though.
Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman. I'm going to go ahead and say Roman Reigns. He said one sentence, and that's all he needed to do. And he nailed it.
Solid.
So, thanks for watching, guys. Next segment, we're going to go ahead and talk about SmackDown Live. So, hopefully you guys bring it, man. Jabronis.
Word.
Well, actually, we're going to talk about NXT and 205 Live.
I don't mean to interrupt you, Kev, but I've got a great new idea. So just hear me out, okay? It's called At Champ Is Here Show Podcast, the strongest brand in the land. What do you think about it? I mean, is it over? Do you like it? I think it's a great idea.
So please subscribe on YouTube at Champ Is Here Show. Like and follow on Twitter and Instagram at Champ Is Here Show.
The strongest brand in the land. At Champ Is Here Show.
And now we're going to talk about 205 Live and NXT. So I think tonight it would be appropriate, since it's WrestleMania in the spirit, we're going to talk about 205 Live and the Cruiserweights. And unfortunately, there was only one match on WrestleMania that was a 205 Live Cruiserweight. And it was the king of the Cruiserweights, the champion, King Neville, going against the number one contender and one of the hottest, I don't want to say new guys because he's been around, but he was reintroduced after an orbital injury, Austin Aries, who had done segments with New Day and whatnot leading up to Mania. And their match, depending how you want to look at it, was either relegated or it elevated the pre-show. I think they had a pretty good match. It was one I was looking forward to most going into the weekend. I was expecting a lot. And all things considered, I think it was a really good match. What do you guys think? First of all, of the WrestleMania match.
I'm a Neville fan. I'm glad he retained. I don't want to see the belt on Aries, so I'm glad I got with the outcome and whatnot. I'm glad the match.
Yeah, I agree. Not yet for Aries. Neville is still, for me, outshines any of the cruiserweights. So keep the belt on him. Aries is slowly growing on me a little bit. I like him. He's done really well on the commentary gig, and that's warmed me up to him. And he's not a bad guy in the ring. So yeah, but it's not his time yet.
Okay, and what do you think, McGee?
I like this run they're going with Neville. I hope he holds it on for a while. But I mean, it's definitely been said Aries is coming.
Yeah. Okay. So I also am happy. What do you guys think of the fact there's only one cruiserweight match on WrestleMania? Was it a letdown? And that was on the pre-show. Did they elevate the pre-show?
I'll say the pre-show was the downside.
It was the first match of the pre-show too.
I mean, so, I thought they would have had.
If you weren't there right on time, you missed it.
Yeah,
I thought they would have had that later on, to kind of elevate 205 Live.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be on the main card too. To be quite honest with you,
especially something that big.
Getting the full WrestleMania treatment would have been nice, and it would have been a treat to see 205 Live, in WrestleMania or on WrestleMania. I'm sorry.
I mean, it was on WrestleMania.
No,
But it was on the pre-show. It doesn't have the same shine.
The same rapport or
No,
whatever.
exactly.
First match on the pre-show too.
Mm-hmm.
So Dean Ambrose and Baron Corbin kind of main evented the pre-show for the Intercontinental title.
That
But that goes to show you though too that it wasn't just the cruiserweights that were put on the pre-show though either. So take it how you want to.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, one of the next big threads that have been weaving in and out of 205 Live has been Tozawa, when he debuted. And Brian Kendrick, who kind of wanted to take him on as a mentor-mentee kind of situation, and Tozawa rebuffed him. And now Kendrick has been kind of teaching him a lesson every week here and there, kind of doing these little things. And Tozawa's kind of been getting him back here and there. And I think they hooked up last week, and this is the rematch. And Tozawa comes out with the win, a quick roll-up. So how you guys feeling about this right now? The man from Japan and the man with the plan.
Hopefully Kendrick gets Tozawa over. Hopefully, so we can...
And you think that's what this is designed to do? Kendrick, the old Grizzle Pro, right?
I second that.
Yeah. Just to get Tozawa over.
He got his he got his win. He got the belt.
He got his run for sure, and I think he's a good schmarmy heel. You always have to have a good
one of the best
heel.
cruiserweights since sliced bread. So he does a great job.
All right.
And Tozawa is an interesting prospect.
Yeah, feelings on Tozawa.
He's an interesting prospect.
I like him. I think that yelling's going to get the crowd in.
Yeah,
into 205.
Yeah, but he told me earlier he thinks that's what's going to get the cruiserweights over.
It is stuff like that.
No,
more interaction.
I mean, they
sets them apart. It's like
the crowd for 205 Live have been asleep. They need.
It is. It's like a nap.
It's a shame.
And putting it on the pre-show for the first match ain't gonna do no favors.
That's really not. I agree. That's a shame. But I mean, it is.
We'll see.
But Austin Aries had a good attitude. He said they're going to elevate their position. They're going to elevate the pre-show, and they did. They had a good match, and they're silver and gold. But yeah. So what were you going to say? I'm sorry.
I was just saying most of the cruiserweight guys have great personality, so I think they could,
Rich,
like you said,
Swann, he's going to be
Rich Swann has such a great personality. Why not put that guy out there more?
Yeah, I really thought he connected with the crowd.
Austin Aries is, he's good too. All of those guys have a little bit of, they're all different. TJ Perkins, he's not bad, but he's slowly growing on me because I like watching him in the ring. But yeah, I agree. I think the 205 Live needs to be elevated a little bit more.
Okay. So speaking of 205 Live, last but not least, the main event. Well, actually, before we get to the main event, they did bring out 4 or 5 competitors, including the champion from the UK tournament. And I believe that there's going to be an event coming up, some shows perhaps, possibly some WWE Network exclusives. So incentive to get the network, $9.99 a month. It's really worth it, especially for the exclusive content. I mean, really alone, and then you get all the bonus of the vault and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But they brought out Trent Seven, Mark Andrews, Wolfgang, and the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne, including the champion, also Tyler Bate, and who... Ironically, again, a little trivia FYI, Tyler Bate actually defended the WWE UK title over WrestleMania weekend at a non-WWE event. It was the first time that a WWE belt was sanctioned to be defended outside of a WWE sanctioned event, if that makes sense. And it looks like he won. I didn't get to see it, but it was probably a good match. I know it's probably on YouTube or something out there.
Somewhere.
But yeah, how crazy is that though? Just a little FYI kind of thing. Those are one of those little wrestling facts.
It's pretty interesting, actually. But it shows that WWE really wants to put their product. They really feel like the talent pool is deep over there, and so they want to,
Well, there's also a rumor going around. I've heard that it's kind of testing the water, and if it gets over, they're going to do a Japanese version, and they're going to do a Mexican version.
That would be wonderful.
And yeah, and hopefully, if they can get enough guys, we might even see a World Cup.
Takeover.
Yeah, if we see a World Cup out, because I love the idea when they present it like a sport, like 205 Live and stuff, and it feels very pure, and it's more based on. And you can even build stories about competition within it. Like there are natural story arcs that appear, but when you present it like that, it just seems so much more credible, and I think that's how wrestling's going to become more mainstream again, because it makes it easier on ESPN to make it relatable to a non-wrestling fan or a non-fan of sports entertainment to watch it and not feel like
what's going on.
Well, not even that, but feel like oh man, this isn't like real, this isn't legit. Like it makes it easier to get caught up in it when it's presented like it's legitimate.
Bracketology type.
And yeah, and they're giving everyone their little backstory about I'm from this country, I work this style, I do this, I do that. Like it's more about their technique.
A lot they do.
And their skill, yeah. And I think especially now that MMA's become a thing, I think that really helps make it relatable and more consumable, makes it easier to consume. So good luck with that. Good luck to the guys of UK. I'm a big fan. So we'll definitely see what the future holds with them. But moving on, they had a fatal 4-way match. Unfortunately, not elimination. I think it was first fall to the finish.
Yeah.
But it was won by Austin Aries again. So now we're gonna get the rematch. So is this the match that we were deprived of at WrestleMania? Is that what we're gonna see?
As long as King Neville reigns.
Why not have done a fatal 4-way for the belt at WrestleMania? Why do we have to see Austin Aries win twice in a fatal 4-way and then get his rematch?
The first time for being technical.
Yeah.
But I mean, I kind of think they it's probably a timing thing, to be honest with you. But go ahead though.
Hopefully, this is what we should have seen the first time. Not on the pre-show, a part of the actual event.
But y'all said the pre-show match was good, so I mean, why?
It was, but it's
was
like
I look forward to it, but I think it.
It's like you said, if you wouldn't have made it, you missed it.
Give it more of the star treatment, and I think it would. The
more
wrestling will
gravitas.
shine through too.
I agree. If you set the bar higher, they'll deliver. Those are two really good workers. So speaking of NXT and 205 Live, we're going to go ahead and move on to NXT. And they also had a takeover event this past weekend that was, I think, fairly successful. It wasn't their best work ever, but I was definitely very happy with it. It was a very exciting tag team match. And, pretty cool, we got all new all new championships. Tag team, women's, and the top title, the NXT Championship. First of all, were you guys happy with the title designs? In one word?
Yeah, very.
I'm
Popped.
Tag titles are very nice, probably my favorites. And Bobby Roode retained. He beat Shinsuke Nakamura. Asuka and Ember Moon had a very nice, snug, hard-hitting match. Anyone could watch and follow along and be enthralled. And triple threat tag team match, we kind of spoke on it earlier. I think it was the match of the weekend. So overall, guys, we also saw the debut of Aleister Black. And Roddy Strong too. Looked really good. Cassius Ohno showed up in the tag match against Sanity that they won. So overall, who do you think were the winners and losers coming out of TakeOver? We're going to start over here with Stevie Boy. What do you think?
The winners and losers coming out of TakeOver.
Definitely, you can pick one of each if you want to.
I'm definitely my two winners. I mean, Asuka. Yeah, I'm going to go with Ember Moon as a winner because she looked really good against Asuka. And I had kind of had lowered my expectations for her. She
for Asuka or Ember Moon.
For Ember Moon, mm-hmm. She performed. She did a really good job. Yeah. So she's the winner for me. The three-way tag was brilliant. I wasn't sure who was going to win, and I didn't really even know who I wanted to pull for. And then it's good. They really all those guys worked together well, and it was a great match.
Okay. What about we'll go ahead and go with what do you think, Arthur? Winners and loser. You can give me one of each or whatever you think.
My loser has to be probably Bobby, because I think that he didn't. I think he needs to connect a little bit more with the NXT crowd to get that over. I think Shinsuke left a bigger impression in that match than he did. Okay. I think it should be the way around, even with the situation how it was. And my winner has to be Aleister Black. He came and made a very, very impressive debut. He had a very, very unique and entrance.
Yeah. You guys like it? You guys like it?
Yeah.
Look,
and his moveset is so it's impressive.
He used with that, he got over. Cien did a great job in that match. It was match of the night for me. Probably, I think that when I said match of the night, I want to say I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I like that match too. Yeah. What'd you think, McGee?
I'm on the same page. I'd say low was Rude, and highs was it's either DIY or the Revival.
Okay. Why do you think them over Authors of Pain, who actually won the match? I mean, because Revival did get promoted.
Well, I mean, that's probably it. Like, they were so over it was just probably a matter of like when. I thought they would have stayed in NXT a little bit longer, but I guess it was time.
Okay. And I'd have to say, I'm going to kind of look at this a little bit different. My loser would be No Way Jose, because I know you're just doing your job, but to go from being promoted on a match at WrestleMania weekend to getting jumped at Access, I mean, that has to hurt. So hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he's not actually hurt, and this was just, to help Cassius Ohno out. But that, to me, that would hurt if I was him. And my winner would have to be, I'm going to say Ember Moon, because I think she, like he said, I think people like him were sleeping on her, and she woke him up. She delivered. So, and her and Asuka, she went toe-to-toe with Asuka. Yeah. And I think if Asuka loses before she goes to the main roster, Ember Moon's going to be the one to do it. And you can go ahead and take that to the bank. So, it's been fun, you guys. Talking about NXT and 205 Live. Oh yeah, actually, before we go, one more thing about NXT. There's a hot new tag team that you brought up off the show, off air. Heavy Machinery. Have you guys been keeping up with Heavy Machinery?
I have, and they're impressive guys. They kind of remind me of Earthquake and Typhoon a little bit. Mm-hmm. In that same vein, and they move so light for guys that look like Heavy Machinery. So I'm good with the gimmick.
I think you just like saying the name. What do you think?
It is fun to say.
Heavy Machinery.
Want to see what they do with them.
Okay. Future tag champions? Right now, what do you think? In your mind, yes or no?
No.
Okay.
It's a shame Bull Dempsey left when they fired him when he did, because
they could have been a trio. He could have been like the leader of it. Heavy Machinery, the big bulldozer. You know what I'm saying? Well, go ahead though.
I'm not a fan of that gimmick.
You don't like it?
Nah.
Yeah, well,
it's not for me.
I don't think they're champions. I think the Authors of Pain are going to crush them. Honestly, I think they're going to be food for Authors of Pain. But I do like saying it though. So Heavy Machinery. But yeah, so it's been fun talking about NXT and 205 Live. And next thing we're going to get into is the Blue Brand, SmackDown Live. So here comes the money. And now we're here on the Champions Here podcast, and we're going to talk about SmackDown Live Tuesday night, the last night of WrestleMania weekend. Isn't it crazy to say Tuesday's part of a WrestleMania weekend now? I think it's kind of unbelievable. I'm excited about it, though.
I like it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I know next year when we're in New Orleans and we're going, I'm going to fully enjoy having like 6 days straight of just losing my mind.
That is a great thought.
So, SmackDown Live, I guess we got to address the big elephant in the room. He touched on it earlier in the show. Randy Orton won his 13th. That's 1-3. That's 3 under, 2 under Ric Flair, right? 15, 16? So 3 under Ric Flair, who's considered by many to be the greatest. He won his 13th.
It's a lot. That's a lot if you think about it. Yes.
It's a lot. At WrestleMania, he's only 35, 36, and consider top guys used to not to start their run until they were 35, 36. So he's won 13th, and he beat Bray Wyatt with 1 RKO out of nowhere. This is after 3 different instances of the mind games, I guess is what they're referring to it as, when the projections came on the mat, which, I mean, I didn't expect.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I mean, what do you guys think of that, first of all?
I kind of liked it. It was
kind of creepy,
yeah,
right?
It was creepy and crazy.
Did it fit Bray Wyatt? Was it appropriate? Did it make sense to you guys?
It did, but he lost.
It didn't make sense.
Really.
Exactly, he lost.
Why did they do that?
I don't know. I kind of wish. I mean,
he can't need a title. That's why. I've said it before. He need a title. You can't. This is what you said before. You can't run from it now.
I mean,
he needed a title.
I said it, but they put it on him, and I kind of felt like in the story they were telling, I would have preferred if Bray had kept it. I mean, especially because you're pulling. The only thing that makes sense is, like I said earlier in the show, is they're going with the RKO out of nowhere. It just takes 1.
Bray needed that title more than Orton needed that title, 100%.
You mean right now, or just in general?
Just in general.
I mean,
career-wise,
Randy has had it 13.
Career-wise, Bray's never had it. Maybe he was overdue for it. Did he perform as well as he should have with the belt? That's up for debate, I think.
He only had it for a month.
But he's has he ever? Okay,
I'm not going to say he was a bad champion,
but
he was only champion.
In my
for a
opinion,
month.
like I said, the best match I've ever seen with him is the count-out match with John Cena, where John Cena throws that giant shelf on top of him. Last man standing, where he stands on top of
the count-out match.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I had no idea
Apologize.
what that was.
And
I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish.
But I mean, every other time he's kind of, I'm like, oh, Bray, he's so cool, and he never pulls it off. It's just the cool character works, but it just ring-wise, it doesn't satisfy me. It does not satisfy me.
How do you feel about the Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton?
I was into the match, especially like the creepy cool parts with the worms and stuff. I even chose him to win, but he didn't win. So again, I don't know what they're gonna do with him.
Wow. Okay. So no one is excited about them having this rematch because it looks like the feud's continuing. Because if you saw SmackDown Live, then you know Bray Wyatt appeared in the middle of Randy Orton's promo and basically challenged him to a House
of Horrors.
I have it written right there, a House of Horrors match. I have it written down, and they did not elaborate at all about what a House of Horrors match is. And Randy Orton, in classic, charismatic, glowing Randy Orton fashion, looked right at the camera and said, Bray Wyatt, I don't know what that is, but I accept. So, he's always very, smooth with his promos. And, yeah, I mean, I was convinced, right? I bought my ticket right then and there. House of Horrors, I'm sold. Any guesses? Is it a dressed-up, hardcore Falls Count Anywhere match, or is this something never seen before? Are they going to put some money into
probably
this?
won't be anything impressive.
Maybe,
yeah.
You don't sound...
It's going to be an unsanctioned match. It's going to be like an unsanctioned match. It's going to be like Triple H and Seth Rollins. I think at WrestleMania. Matter of fact, it's going to be like Brock Lesnar and Dean Ambrose. I'll give you that. What Randy has not...
Wow.
Randy has not...
Bitter like cilantro.
Do you not realize he's the Viper? The Apex Predator. He's the same as a bear.
On par with
He has
the bear.
no natural enemies.
None.
The Viper.
Yes. So what do you think of Apex? What do you think the House of Horror match is going to be?
I don't know. Didn't they have a House of
This
Horrors
sounds like
match?
some WCW stuff,
Didn't
right?
they have a House of Horrors match in WCW? That's the first thing I think of. I
I
apologize.
almost fixed my
They had
I think
they had a what was it? The electric chair? He falls into the electric.
That's what it is with the duel of the
Yes,
butcher,
yeah.
Cactus
He
Jack.
falls into the electric chair and gets.
So are we seeing Bray Wyatt get electrocuted? Are you calling it now, Stevie?
No, I hope not. I hope they.
Stevie's calling it now. What say you, McGee? We're seeing Bray Wyatt get electrocuted. I'm looking forward to it now.
I just see,
That meant 33.
no disqualification.
Wet sponge on the forehead. So it's just a dressed up no DQ match.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I like to
With a little fun and games in, maybe.
I like to think that WWE, in the vein of a Buried Alive match, in the vein of Hell in a Cell, in the vein of the Boiler Room Brawl, in the vein of a casket match, I like to think that they're setting us up for something here, and hopefully they'll deliver something different. We'll see. Because it's either going to be something we've never seen before, or it's going to be like a Falls Count Anywhere match. And they might put it like in a weird spot in the arena or something, but... What were you going to say, though?
Well, I know I kind of went a little hard on Bray Wyatt there, a little harsh.
Right.
But that's high praise because I expect a lot from him. I think his character is well done.
Okay, well, speaking of that, so he challenges, Randy accepts, and then Eric Rowan appears with this new contraption mask that has like a breathing tube, and there's like, I don't understand the mask. I'm not a fan of it. But he shows up, he does some dirty business, and Luke Harper shows up for the save. And it's made, as the now 2007 Hall of Famer would say, player, we having a tag team match tonight for the main event. So it's Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper, Strange Bedfellas, versus
Eric Rowan. Eric Rowan, Bray Wyatt and Eric Rowan.
You're
Luke
right.
Harper and Randy Orton.
I get them confused. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, so the new reformed Wyatt family versus Luke Harper and Randy Orton. So
say that again. The new reform. It just they've diluted this character in like 3. It's like man, it makes no.
Eric Rowan has a new
sense.
mask now, so it's all good.
Yeah.
And
So-
we got a new hairstyle now too.
So okay, moving on to me, one of the high spots of the night and of the WrestleMania. Shane McMahon came out to address the crowd. This is after superstar shakeup that we heard about, and he addressed the crowd. And AJ Styles made an appearance, and an interesting show of respect. They shook hands with one another. They acknowledged one another as peers. It looked like, and AJ teased it, but. No shenanigans. It looked like they pretty much have squashed it. AJ even went as far to say, as I helped build this brand, I helped build this house, I want to stay here. So, before that promo, I would have been convinced AJ's going to Raw. Now I'm not sure anymore. So, what say you? What's the future for AJ Styles in SmackDown? Is there a future for AJ Styles in SmackDown? I mean, Stevie, what do you think?
I think that's exactly what he just did. Is by saying that he said, I want to stay on SmackDown. I want to continue to build this brand as it is.
So maybe he goes
because I'm the face that runs the place, baby.
Well, could he go to Shane now that they're kind of homeboys?
Yeah,
or at least respectful. And could he be like, "Hey,
exactly.
do me a solid. I want the club," and maybe they go and get the club.
And it's like the
Could that
clash. You clash with your coworker or your boss, but you now have that mutual respect.
Find
for
common
each other.
ground. Yeah. What do you think? What's the future for AJ Styles, McGee?
I think he'll stay at SmackDown, and we will probably see a new AJ Styles, because I think AJ Styles
Good guy, AJ
was
Styles.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We got a taste of it when he first got there.
I think AJ Styles was like
He's hard to boo though.
was like you're the parent, and your kid is like running rampant and has got an attitude, and you have to put him in their place sometimes.
Go ahead, say like you said it earlier. You got to put that belt on him.
Yeah,
right?
you got to put the belt on.
You got to put that belt on.
So
him.
now that he got it,
they gonna act right.
yeah.
So what about you? Where's AJ going?
Hope he goes nowhere and stays on SmackDown.
And what's next for AJ? Is he back? Is he top guy? Top guy status?
Yeah, that was the most logical thing. I enjoyed it. I mean, they went in there as competitors and came out as, like y'all said, comrade. I feel like this is gonna be.
Well, after what I saw, I am of the opinion that AJ Styles is going to stay on SmackDown. Him and Shane have made peace, it looks like. It looks like he's moving into being a face. They might bring the club over for him. Who knows? But I also think since Balor debuted on Raw, they're going to keep them in two separate ecosystems right now, and because that's big money. So they're going to go ahead and let each guy kind of work through everyone else on the roster until it's probably one of those like elephant in the room kind of situations
Right.
where everyone's kind of like, when are these guys going to touch? Because they haven't yet. To my knowledge, they actually just missed each other in New Japan too. So to my knowledge, these guys have never touched. Mm-hmm. So that's big money. So that's not even getting to all of their past, if you know what I'm saying. So, okay, moving on. We had The Miz, or John Cena, depending how you want to look at it, and Maurice come out. And, despite the fact that they lost at WrestleMania, is Miz still a top heel? Some people said he was the hottest, the bad guy in WWE going into Mania. I mean, did he lose some of his heat, his stink? Or,
I say he doesn't.
So he's still a top guy or no?
Yeah, props. That means
Everything he said was true.
Yeah, but Baron Corbin's coming real quick for that spot. So
Okay, but does Miz losing to Cena hurt him any?
no.
Oh, it's John Cena.
me personally, I would love to see Miz get the win over Cena.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it hurts him because he's just so good at being disliked. It doesn't even matter.
And then we had the plot twist. I knew he would be here, but I didn't see it coming then. I thought he was going to sabotage AJ or show up and surprise AJ. But the King of Strong Style, Shinsuke, the two-time NXT champion, appeared. Well, first, Lee England Jr. appeared.
Is that his name?
I believe so.
I'm glad I know his name because he
And-
can really rock that violin.
Oh no! And this was the crowd when they saw a violinist. They knew what was next.
Mm-hmm.
And my friends, we saw one of the most charismatic entrances I think in the whole company right now, one of the best songs in the company right now. And basically, they gave 5 minutes to Shinsuke Nakamura to let him saunter down to the ring, style and profile, drop an elbow or two on a sport coat, and then leave. Didn't say anything. Didn't say a word.
Zero.
The Miz got out of his way. I noticed that. I don't know if you guys did, but The Miz got out of his way. So does this lead to Shinsuke and Miz? Is this the first?
I hope not.
Or what's the future for Shinsuke Nakamura on the blue brand? The King of Strong style.
That'd be a good
A
introduction.
bunch of jobbers, hopefully.
Well, Miz.
I honestly don't want to see him. I would build him up, man. Like,
but you don't think Miz would help that? Miz could talk.
Yeah.
Miz could do the talking, and Nakamura can show up and keep his head.
But this is whole deal. Like, y'all have argued this. Like, the NXT is all different brand. So, like you have to introduce the people to him.
Reintroduce
So,
him.
Yeah,
Spoon feed him.
Yeah. So, I mean, you
Okay.
can't just be having him go against.
But do you think the
Miz.
casual fan likes Miz? They probably.
They'd be happy to see Nakamura kick his
I
head
think.
off.
I think
Yeah,
it would
man,
be.
but
I think it would be interesting to see because Miz. I think Miz works well with anybody who wants to look good because Miz is annoying.
I mean, but Miz has always been the WWE. We've never seen Miz go anywhere else, man. So we don't know how he's going to extend.
Right.
We saw Sami Zayn and Nakamura. Sami Zayn has been different. He's been all on the road. Like he's been
So is Nakamura.
almost. Yeah, but I'm saying Miz has not. So they've
Yeah.
never touched
Right,
him like
right.
Miz.
Yeah.
So you're
Sami
saying
Zayn.
So you think stylistically
they're
it
getting
won't
rid of
work?
chemistry?
I mean,
is
we
not-
don't know. That's what I'm saying. Put him in with some regular, some jobbers. Let him get comfortable. Let him work through this. Because again, we might not see a very good match with anybody on the blue brand besides AJ Styles. We don't. We hope that we see something good, but we don't know yet. So we gotta just like.
That's a fair point. Will Strong Style be able to make the transition to SmackDown? Because they were able to protect Nakamura a little bit in NXT and kind of handpick who he worked with here and there. Whereas if he's going to be full-time touring member of the roster, that means you have to do house shows, you have to do all this other stuff. And in NXT, he was working with, like Joe said, guys that were more international in their experience, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
Whereas Miz specifically is a WWE guy. Like, he came up in their system. So that's an interesting question. That's a good point. I kind of think Miz will rise to the occasion, though. So we'll see. So, but everyone overall was excited about Nakamura's arrival.
Oh,
the
yes.
Oh yeah.
The King of Strong
Yes,
Style.
please. It's about time.
About to everyone get a yow. But, okay. So, moving on to another feel-good moment. Naomi returned at WrestleMania in her hometown of Orlando, despite the fact that her knee was injured just a month prior in her prior championship victory when she beat Alexa Bliss for the first time ever. And she had to give the title back because it didn't look like she'd make it. But she made it back in time, and she made the champ tap out. Then the other women's match, 2 women's matches, title matches at WrestleMania, made the champ tap out. They had their rematch on SmackDown. If I'm not mistaken, same result.
Mm-hmm.
Naomi by tap out. I like the move, too. It's a really nice looking, like, leg chicken wing, like Springs of Saturn thing. It looks very vicious.
Well, I thought her finisher before was a little lackluster. I like the submission move.
I like submission finishes too. I agree. It looks credible.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a strike. A good strike looks credible. So, is this more building Naomi up, or is Alexa Bliss on the way out?
Building Naomi up.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, building
a little bit of
Naomi.
both. Take Alexa Bliss out the equation
go ahead.
and let Naomi shine because she hasn't really.
She deserves a run.
Yeah, she deserves it.
And she didn't get it the first time.
She's never got it.
So, what do you think?
I think it's building Naomi up. I don't think Bliss is going anywhere.
I think Bliss is going to Raw. She's already a 2-time champion on SmackDown. She's already been the top heel on SmackDown. I think she's going to Raw. Charlotte is coming to SmackDown. Woo! I'm calling it. We're not going to get caught for that. So moving on. Kurt Hawkins comes out. Says he's going to issue a challenge and he's giving the locker room till the count of 10. And I'll let you take it from here, Stevie.
It's about time my man came into the blue brand, baby. Ty
I
Dillinger,
was going to say you say his name.
the perfect 10.
But put him over, right? And he won with the tiebreaker. Now, is it viable? Is it possible? Can this exist outside of NXT, or is this another Adam Rose?
No, this is not another Adam Rose. This is a gimmick that can go. This is like yes.
Are you a fan?
Yeah, he's too hot.
This gimmick,
Are you a fan?
yes.
Are you a fan?
I've been. I mean, I'm not saying I'm a fan, man, but I've understood the gimmick from the jump.
Okay, so we're at an event. Are you chanting 10?
Yeah.
Are you chanting
Oh,
10?
110%.
Are you? You
I'll
thought,
chant
thought your heart, right? I could tell.
110, baby.
110. I'll chant it.
Okay. I
Don't
can see that. It's
understand
like
it,
a
but
yes.
I'll
I
chant
can
it.
see. Okay. So real quick, what's the ceiling?
Upper mid card.
So we're talking U.S. title, maybe title contender, never wins. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I can agree with that. You know, he puts in a good work rate. That gimmick is so great, though. That theme song was so great, so much fun that I can be
how
okay
the
with
voices tend on
him.
the theme
You know,
song.
I can be okay with him not winning or being such a top guy because it's just enjoyable doing this so much.
So you're gonna support him no matter what.
Yes.
Upper mid card.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the best case scenario for Ty Dillinger. I wish him nothing but the best. He looks like a great guy. The gimmick got over. He lives the gimmick. I mean, you have to walk around with that haircut all the time.
Yeah, that is actually a terrible
So
haircut.
he lives the gimmick. Good luck, Ty. Good luck. Speaking on to new guys making an impact, a SmackDown superstar this year won what I like to call the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, because that's a mouthful. But shouts out, Andre. We miss you. And with help from Super Bowl winning tight end Rob Gronkowski, Mojo Rawley is the 2017 Dre winner. And he cut a pretty passionate promo about how it's his time and he's gonna make a move, man.
Yeah.
So what do y'all think? Are you hype, or are you sleeping on a Mojo Rawley?
I fell asleep.
You're sleeping.
I
We have
fell
one
asleep. I
sleeper.
fell
He didn't go to the right
McGee
M school.
sleeping.
He didn't go to the right M school for me. So
So you're sleeping too?
I'm sleeping.
So he's sleeping too. We have two nappers. Are you a napper?
I'm you know, I kind of get hype. I'm slightly hype. I don't stay hype. I just stay slightly hype. I thought it was a little hokey the way he won, and I was completely
We know
unexpected.
WWE loves famous people.
I think we thought I was personally hoping that two Raw brand guys, Sami Zayn and Braun Strowman, were going to be the two left in the ring. But you know, they went the opposite direction.
Yeah, they went the
They were
unpredictable
putting
winner.
so much heat on so much heat and love on these other characters, and then all of a sudden this man just comes out and wins it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, all right. And we spoke on this briefly, but Ambrose and Corbin had a match at Mania. They had their street fight, a rematch. Yeah, it wasn't a title match because Baron Corbin lost at Mania, but he won. It was a really good match, hard hitting, and it kind of looks like it puts him in line for a title match too now, right?
No.
So okay, tag team match happened. It ends with Bray Wyatt transporting himself out of the ring, and then if I'm not mistaken, RKO, one out of nowhere. Eric Rowan's done, and yeah, it looks like Harper and Randy Orton are strangely allies. So with all that being said, considering SmackDown, who is your SmackDown Live champ of the night? McGee, I'll let you go first since yours got stepped on last time.
You know what? I'll have to say Corbin.
Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
Because he put himself in line for the IC
Yes.
title. It was a good match, too. Hard hitting. We're going to go with you. Let's go with you, author. The author of pain?
Nah. My MVP or match of the night or should draw the night go to AJ Styles.
That was mine.
Because I think he just put the face turn.
He's that
I
guy.
think he put the face turn.
That's all you got to say.
Put the belt
Champ of the
on.
night.
Ty Dillinger, the perfect 10, baby.
I walked right into that. I didn't see that coming. My God. But okay. So, yeah, I think it was overall a good night. I look forward to see what's going to happen in the future. And, yeah, we're going to pretty much come back and wrap everything up. We're going to touch on maybe stuff we might have missed, going over Raw and SmackDown. And, very first time ever, match of the night. Stay tuned. All right, and now we're going to go ahead and wrap up, and we're going to hit on some stuff we might have missed. And I know for sure you guys are probably yelling and screaming at your screen. I missed the headliner of the 2017 Hall of Fame class, the Olympic gold medalist, the man of three eyes. Kurt Angle became the new general manager following in the large footsteps of Mick Foley to become the new general manager of Raw. And I completely missed it, and that's on me. So, my apologies. How do y'all feel about Kurt Angle being the new general manager? Because it's true.
It's damn true.
Good to see him back.
It is.
It really is.
Very
And
so.
WWE, I mean, it's one thing to talk about it, but it really is nice to see again.
Yeah, I think he brings a little bit of more of an air of authority with him, with the wrestlers. Mick Foley was good, but I don't know, it's just maybe because...
Well, he can play the straight man, but he can also, like,
yeah,
he can get funny.
exactly.
the thing with Sami Zayn, when he was making the big eyes and Sammy was just talking a mile a minute, he's just kind of like...
Kurt's like, who's this guy? I'm not sure, but I kind of like him a little
I guess
bit.
it never was, man. I guess it never was.
I know, we talked about that. To me, he could have been the GOAT, like, by far. Like, it's debatable right now. We don't want to get into this, but it's debatable who it is. It's Shawn Michaels. But Kurt Angle could have been the guy, I think, undisputed. And because he's by far the guy that I've always heard took up the business the fastest.
Strong, very strong. Strong take on that.
Okay, so but everyone is excited about Kurt Angle
yeah.
moving into the future
Very.
as Jim. Any potential that since we're talking about superstar shakeup, if you will, is there any chance that Kurt Angle might scoop up? I gotta stop right. Is there any chance that Kurt Angle might scoop up American Alpha in a trade, perhaps?
Yes, I see that. All, shades of Kurt Angle Jr. all day. Well, and just the Olympic background those two guys have. I mean, or the wrestling background. I'm sorry, Chad Gable's doing with the Olympic background.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and they're studs in my opinion. They're tag team.
And again, FYI, Chad Gable got his name from wrestling legend Dan Gable.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a little FYI for you guys out there, a little happy.
Sounding like Simon Gotch, Frank Gotch.
But yeah, so maybe potential American Alpha move, and we're all excited about Kurt Angle. I know I am, and we'll see how he can play against Stephanie. It's been a while since him and Stephanie have been on camera together. At one point they were romantic interests with one another. So, and we'll see how long. Again, are they going to ride this Kurt Angle being a good guy nostalgia run, or are they going to let him work heel? Because I think Kurt Angle works better as a heel.
Mm-hmm.
The arrogant, over the top, like overly, like gosh darn it, you know what I'm saying?
You don't like it when he's angry now.
He does it so. Oh, but he can do that too.
Yeah.
But he doesn't work anymore. He's not a wrestler anymore. So maybe we'll see that side, the wrestling machine side, if he works a match, because he keeps saying he can work another one. But okay, well let's do this then. Kurt Angle works another match or another set of matches, another program with who and why? I'll go with you, author.
He works another set of matches, probably with AJ Styles.
Just to kind of show off what they can do, because they've never done it in a WWE ring.
I think honestly because he trusts AJ. I think
That's fair.
That's strictly honestly either him or Samoa Joe. Only because
They have prior history.
the love they got for each other. I'm pretty sure they were in a.
They probably have like a different level of like almost like a
trust,
mentor mentee.
Yeah. I mean, again, there's so
They hold him
I
in high
think-
regard.
I think something like that.
Okay, I can see that someone he's already tangled with before. That there's history rapport. Okay, what about you? Who would you want to see Kurt Angle?
He took my answer. I was going to say AJ Styles.
I personally would like to see him not wrestle at all.
Okay,
Just stay-
just damaged goods. He's just too
Just
hurt.
just stay in the role you are. You got into the Hall of Fame. You don't need to step into the ring anymore. You have that legacy. You don't need to keep going. Be the authority. Be Kurt Angle. Rule with the 3 eyes.
And go ahead, hit us with the 3 eyes, if you will.
Intensity,
Right,
integrity, intelligence.
you nailed them, folks.
Drink your milk, kids.
Round of applause. You might as well go ahead and tell them to say their prayers and eat some vitamins. But I also look forward to Kurt Angle and AJ Styles just so they can show off, to be quite honest with you. They've never done it in a WWE ring. And if he's only going to get one, which I think is probably going to end up happening, he'll get one in like a big show, let him go out with a bang. You know what I'm saying? Let him leave it all out there. And yeah, I think those are the two, like Joe said, or like author said, I think they have a rapport there that there's trust, and they can go out there and they can probably do some pretty cool things. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Is there anything else that we missed talking about WrestleMania weekend or Raw and SmackDown that you guys want to bring up or touch or just even speak on? I know we kind of briefly spoke on the set. Was everyone? I enjoyed it and the 80-yard ramp. Did anyone else enjoy the set, the design for WrestleMania? I thought it felt very epic.
Yeah.
The ring on top of the ring, that was kind of
I was digging
kind of
that.
playful,
I was
tongue-in-cheek.
digging that.
But the roller coaster part was a little. It could have been did a little more detail. But the ring part was dope.
Yeah,
really nice though. The ring part was really. It was cool to see on top of a ring.
Yeah, the LED
I
light
thought
boards
something
they
would
have.
happen on top of the ring, but nothing did.
Yeah.
Shane was going to jump off, right?
Oh no!
That's
I
what
mean,
we had
like,
said.
like something like a light show or something.
Shane and AJ were
something
gonna
like
have
a
their match
tanker, like something like something special, but nothing. I mean.
And I'll admit, I felt like the dunce. I didn't realize that it was a playoff of Universal until you said something about it. Because I kept thinking, man, like it's a cool looking globe, but why is it a giant globe that says? No, I like the first hour of the pre-show. I'm looking at it like it looks cool, but what is like? I don't get it. Like usually they do something and it makes sense.
Honestly.
And then he said it because I said it out loud, and Artie over here was like, "Oh man, it's Universal Studios, man."
I feel like with Taker, man, they could have had the lightning bolt strike the world, man,
yes,
and engulf it in flames, man, have them go down like that.
I was kind of waiting for them
that's
to do some
like that.
Taker
But again,
hire this man, WWE.
Again,
that's a good idea.
Again, that's why I thought that. There's a lot.
If he had wrestled someone different, then lightning would have hit the globe.
No. He could have wrestled. He could have wrestled himself. I don't care.
Because there was rain, there was no lightning allowed.
Right.
No lightning allowed.
So no lightning zone.
I didn't care about him facing rain. I was just saying that at the end of the match, it could have been a way to go out, but.
Okay, but did you like the set, or did you think it was?
It was alright. Yeah, it was alright.
I thought it felt epic.
I thought Rollins. It took me, like you said, with the globe. It took me the second rewatch to go look at Rollins' gear and realize he's the Golden Knight because he has a shield on his chest. And he's the king. He's the Kingslayer.
What are the first
It's just chainmail.
So, yeah, it's like
just chainmail.
You thought this through.
Yes.
Touche.
Well, I'm thinking Seth Rollins is looking like Aquaman, or maybe he went to the University of Central Florida Golden Knights and took their gear out of their mascot closet. But second look, I realized, oh wow, that's really tastefully put together. So sorry, Rollins, you're not a merman.
Not a merman. Okay. What about you? Something else you want to speak on or talk about?
I like the effects on the floor when he lit the place on fire.
I liked it. Yeah, I liked the ADR. I liked it personally.
What did you guys think about?
Well, go ahead. The Randy Orton thing, we're not gonna do.
What, the projections on the floor? Or what?
Yeah, the snake that was following him.
Oh, that snake was awkward.
It was a little awkward.
That snake.
Awkward, as they say in Francais. It was awkward. I don't know if they say it like that.
Awkward.
But parlez-vous français?
Try.
Okay, well then, who had the best interest? Who was Rollins the coolest use of the ramp? Then you guys think?
Roman Reigns.
Yeah. Roman Reigns when he punched the
That
ground
was
and it
really
all
cool.
crackled.
That was the best part.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, the pyro and the fireworks were
Randy
really
didn't
epic.
move me because that really didn't remind me of a snake. Honestly, that really didn't move me. The Roman got me. That was dope.
But the torch lighting on fire,
And then the
stage,
ring.
and then
the ring went up
then you
too.
hear everybody realize that that's what's going on. They go, oh, you can hear the whole stadium, and it was pretty epic.
Well, because they were even doing the mat projecting, so even the mat and the whole ring went up in flames. I enjoyed it. With them standing there in it, I enjoyed it.
What about Triple H's entrance with no fire, nothing, just those lights?
He's the authority man, the police.
It was interesting. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, he's
Totally
pretty much at this
makes
point
sense.
he's like the figurehead. I'm like the president now. Like I don't even you know what I'm saying? Like I don't even need to fight you. It's like symbolism. I'm fighting you because you've pissed me off that much.
Right.
Like I'm doing the dirty work myself. I'm above this now though. Because like he said earlier, Samoa Joe could have been fighting Seth Rollins at Mania, but I guess they felt like Triple H had to be the guy to do the honors, man, at Mania. So yeah. So overall, though, I enjoyed the stage. Who had the best entrance, you think? Roman.
Seth.
I'm tired. It's a tie. I enjoyed both. At least if you ask me. So, okay. We have a new segment we're testing out. Something small. We're going to do basically a match of the night. And it's not necessarily a match based on what we saw on Raw or SmackDown. It could be. But it could be something also from the WWE Network, which you can get from $9.99. And it basically has almost the entire history of modern pro wrestling in North America. So if you're any kind of fan, and if you're watching the show, you're definitely a fan. It's definitely worth it. $9.99, man. And you get every live pay-per-view event, sometimes 2 a month, including WrestleMania. I mean,
It's worth it.
I'm still surprised WWE hasn't raised the price yet. It's unbelievable. And they keep adding more content, and that's not even counting the original content. So I'm going to go ahead and try to kick off the match of the night. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to try to watch or rewatch it. I recommend you guys go out there and do the same. Leave comments. Make recommendations. Every week someone new will be recommending you a match of the night. And it's going to basically be something that they're feeling and that they want to share. And we're going to share our feelings next week on this match before the next person reveals their next match. So we'll kind of get a gauge about how everyone felt about it. And we'll see who has good taste. So in the spirit of WrestleMania weekend, all these people debuting, The match I chose, I talked about it earlier. I talk about it a lot. If you know me personally, it is probably my favorite match of the year last year. It is from NXT TakeOver Dallas, WrestleMania weekend, WrestleMania 32, the debut, Shinsuke Nakamura. And we literally, it's our first time seeing him in person on North American television, to my knowledge. Because even before that, it was all vignettes. Looked like they shot him on iPhones, too.
They were pretty potato quality.
And to me, just as big of a part of the anticipation as him actually wrestling was their presentation of him. How much of it were they going to keep and how much were they going to repackage? Because this was still in a time where they were kind of giving guys different names or tweaking them or changing their look. And his music and his entrance was so synonymous with him in New Japan. He went all over the world with that song and that look and that gimmick, and I mean, it made him a star. WWE came calling. So for the lights to go out and those violins, it almost sounded like a Parliament Funkadelic met Darth Vader. You know what I'm saying? When those strings hit and everything, and the lights go out, and the light show that accompanies it, and then the beat drops, and you see the name show up in red, and Nakamura shows up. I was sold right then. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I was already all in. And then you see this epic match that they paint, this struggle of just not good and evil, but just two guys wanting to prove that, they belong. One guy saying, I'm the new guy, I know I have to prove myself. And then you have another guy that's saying, don't forget about me, I'm still here. This last gasp, this last grasp, this last chance to show what I can do, that I belong, that I am the standard bearer here. And to see what they put on, I mean, it was a work of art, if you ask me. And to let the WWE to let Nakamura go all in and really work a real Nakamura style match in his first night, I think really went a long way into winning over a lot of American fans that didn't know who he was or had only heard about him and was like, oh, what's the hype about it? So kudos to Sami Zayn just as much as Nakamura, because it takes two. And
they tangled well.
After the match, I'm talking a month or two later, I find out that the rumor is that these two had never ever wrestled. They'd never even really met before. And they had mutual friends, and they both spoken to their mutual friends. And based off that, we'll call it in the ring.
Wow.
They called that match in the ring. So every spot you see, every moment, the forearms for 3 minutes straight where Nakamura gets his nose broken, all that's all in the ring. It's all called in the ring. Everything. They didn't pre-call any spots.
That's pretty amazing.
You didn't know that?
I had no idea.
Blew my mind to this day.
No idea.
To this day, they didn't pre-plan any of those spots. So if you know that, and they went out there for 15, 20 minutes and killed each other.
Yeah. Literally looked like Sami Zayn was he left it all out there.
Yes.
All out there. Oh yeah, both guys.
So kudos to both of those men for stealing the show, really, and making what could have been just a mediocre encounter on WrestleMania weekend. Because Sami Zayn had a whole nother match on WrestleMania that weekend that he could have been saving himself for, a ladder match, if you will, that he could have been saving himself for. And for him to come out and to do not only Nakamura justice, but the fans justice and himself justice, and showing up and delivering. Because at that point in time, he was pretty much the lifeblood of NXT.
Yep, he was.
So for him and Nakamura to tangle, and it to truly be a clash of the Titans, and to live up to the hype, and exceed it, if you ask me. Because I didn't expect the match to be as physical as it was. I kind of almost think that's the match that Nakamura is still chasing in WWE. And I'm hoping that now that he's on the main roster, they'll take the leash off now. And the big moments... You know what I mean? They'll really let him go. Because now that I think he's worked the style there and they've seen him, I think that they know he's not reckless,
Right.
No.
He just works a physical, stiff, strong style. The king of strong style. That's why you went and got him. Take the leash off now, right?
Right.
Let him work.
I mean, because even him and a guy like Randy Orton, and even speaking of that, there's a rumor that, or not rumor, but it's said that he worked a dark match with Dolph Ziggler at SmackDown.
The forgotten man, Dolph Ziggler.
After, exactly. I don't even think he was on Mania, was he?
Was he in the battle? Was he in the
He might have been in the Dre.
Because I was thinking about it.
The Dre.
I was thinking Dolph Ziggler is somewhere weeping quietly after SmackDown because he's just R.I.P. Zig.
Yeah, but yeah, obviously ended with Kinshasa Nakamura. So he's probably on YouTube. I haven't seen it. I'm not gonna look for it. I'm waiting for Nakamura to do it for real. For realsies. So yeah, NXT Takeover, Dallas, Nakamura, Sami Zayn. First time they ever even been in the ring at the same time. Watch it. Be amazed. If you've never seen pro wrestling or there's someone you know hasn't, show them that match. Guarantee you, they'll be interested. So yeah, next week I'm going to have a contraption. We're going to go ahead and probably pick a name. And I think that'll be the best way to pick who gets to pick the match of the night. Does that sound fair to you guys?
Yes, sir. Bingo style works.
All right. And if we end up doing something off camera, I'll let you guys know. But yeah, so pretty much that's been our podcast. The Champ is here. I appreciate you guys for watching. I am Kevin Cartier alongside my compatriots.
Arthur Sinclair.
Kaliko McGee.
Stevie Boy Smith.
And please make sure you like, comment, share, follow the podcast. We are on Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, and YouTube. It is Champ is Here Show. Or at Champ is Here Show. So if you want to check us out, like I said, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, YouTube, at Champ is Here Show. And you'll find us. And yeah, so hopefully we'll catch you guys next week. And please don't forget to send us suggestions because you never know.
Please, we'd be happy to interact with you guys. At Champ is Here, tweet us, Instagram, whatever you want to do. We'll talk right back to you guys.
Well, right back. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. So yeah, see you guys next week, man, for another episode of The Champ is Here. Peace.